I start my day. Technically, I don't start till 9:55, but I get there early so that way I get myself mentally prepared for the day because I never know technically what route I'm going to be on. Like I could be in my stomping grounds of Owego, where I live. I could be in Endicott like I am today. I could be in Vestal, Endicott. Sometimes like you're in multiple cities, and it gets crazy.
Sure. Sure. I hear you.
Today's a crazy. I mean, it's not a crazy day, but it's Hey, what's up, JP?
What's going on, buddy?
Um, so today's 180 stops with 309 packages. So,
Damn.
but I'm about half done. It'll be knocked out. I ain't worried.
Been a long day for you already.
So it's basically 2 o'clock, and I've already almost done 80 stops. So we're about halfway done already. So
Right on, man. All right. Well, let's get into everything today, man. So, what made you want to grow your beard?
so yeah. Welcome everybody back to the Shindig. Episode 2 here. Kyle and I were discussing last night, was it last night or some point yesterday?
Yeah. Yep.
What topics we were going to discuss today. And it was, what started our beer journey and what we wish we knew that we know now,
Yep.
So you want me to go first?
Go ahead, man.
So it's kind of a funny story. I wasn't at Amazon when I first started to grow my beard.
Okay.
Working at KFC and A&W, I was a shift manager there full time. And so basically, hey, there's Tara.
Yep. What's up, Tara?
So me and my buddy actually, we were like, we should do No Shave November. Like I haven't shaved since, the end of October anyway. It was almost November. I said, if I go a whole month without shaving, then I'm just going to keep it going.
Okay.
So we both kept it going. That's basically how it started. And I wasn't using any products. I was actually using an aloe vera Johnson's creamy lotion on my beard. God, I don't miss those days.
Yeah, that sounds horrendous.
I think it did damage, to be honest with you.
Probably.
And to wash, I was using Johnson's baby shampoo, which isn't horrible. It is a solid solution if you can't get your hands on products, but it isn't the most viable thing to use. So I was using those things, and I'm watching to see if this person's going to hit my van.
Hey,
that would get very close.
Well, that would have ended the live stream really quickly.
It wouldn't have ended it, but it would have been him paying us for his insurance or whatever. But
yeah, for sure.
Anyways, I actually was looking up beard companies. I was very reluctant because I have sensitive skin, so I have to watch laundry detergents, soaps, like that.
Yeah.
Can't use Irish Spring. It'll make me itch and I'll break out in a rash.
For sure.
So the first thing that pops up, the very first beard I ever used was from Suavecito, who's best known for their pomade. Okay.
I've never even heard of it. What is it? Suavecito? Pomade. Yeah. Interesting. Straight argan oil. Lotion. Yikes. Yeah, I agree, Tara. That sounds horrible.
It was horrible. And first company that I, discovered was Badass Beard Care.
Okay.
I got a sample, I was free, $3.99 shipping or whatever. and I can't even remember what was the scent. I think I went with the Viking, or no, it wasn't the Viking. Mountain Man, because I love
Okay.
pine scents. So it was great, and that the rest is history as far as
Well,
what's up, Cleo? The rest is history with kind of beard products from after that. I discovered Dancy's channel. I once ways from Stroke Beard Co. They're no longer a company anymore, but and then the next one was West Y, and then
wow.
it became an addiction. Like my
Sure.
collection grew really fast. So, but I did end up cutting my beard off because of I was trying to get out of the job that I was at, and I chopped it off. I immediately regretted it. I woke up the
Yep.
next morning and everything was just like I was using Honest. Yeah, Honest Amish is not bad at all.
I've never used Honest Amish.
It's a solid if you're tight on money, it's a solid option. Like you
Sure.
could use it regularly and be all right.
I've seen them in like Walmarts and Target. I just never really paid too close of attention to it.
Only product I'll ever use from a Walmart Target.
Yeah.
But yeah, I chopped it off. I was only about 6 months in,
Right.
so it wasn't like where I'm at now.
Chris, what's up, brother?
So my son looked at me, stared at me, he acted like he didn't know who I was. So I'm like, he kind of like smacked me in the face. And granted, this is like my son who was under a year of age that, he's like, you've had a beard since I've opened my eyes, So my older son cried. My wife was pissed because it was around Father's Day and she had bought me a whole bunch of stuff that was beard related for Father's Day. All my friends, like it was just this huge, overwhelming, like, why did you do that? You look weird. Don't ever do that again. And my sister-in-law made it point blank. You shave again, I will disown you.
I shaved, I think, 2 or 3 times, and what's up, G? I didn't like looking in a mirror, like, after I've shaved, I'm like, "I don't know who this person is, like, this is not who I am," like, it is kind of like an identity crisis in a sense of, like, you almost don't like the way that you look. I mean, it's kind of like anyone really, kind of picking things about them that they don't like about how their appearance is without a beard. I don't like looking into a mirror. I don't like what I see. It's just my vanity, I guess. It's just not what I want myself to appear as. Like, my beard is my identity. It's just who I am. It kind of helps my confidence and kind of, you know, being the person that I wanna come across as. It's just how I present myself.
So how did your beard journey start?
So, mainly because I like Dagan, he was an APLP, like, loss prevention, all that kinda thing, um, and I was in a lot of high-end security, clearanced, positions. And unfortunately, where I worked didn't allow us to have any facial hair. Well, I took really like personal, vendetta against that. I was like, as soon as I'm done here, I was like, I'll never pick up another razor, And so, like, I think I grew just like a really bad beard for maybe, a couple months here and there after I was done because I didn't know what I was doing yet. I was young. I was like 19, 20,
Mm.
and I was like, "I have no idea what I'm doing." And so I was there for probably, like, 4 years, and so I grew another one for maybe about a year, and then I had to move again and get a different job, and once again, that job was like, "Oh, yeah, we can't have people with facial hair." I'm just like, "Shit, here we go again." And I was there for about a year. And I was like, this is it. I'm done. You know? And I moved out here to Colorado about 4 years ago now. And as soon as I got into the medical field, when I was in the medical field, the very first time I went for my interview, they were like, "Yeah, you have to wear like an N95 and you can't have, any
Oh,
facial hair." At that point, I had grown a solid 2.5 year beard, right? I sat in that person's office and basically started to cry. She's like, "Do you want tissues?" I was like, "I might actually." Like, you don't understand. So it's like
how long was your
basically,
beard?
huh?
How long was your beard at that point?
About here.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah, it
So
was
how
pretty
long you
decent.
been growing it back now?
About 2 years now. I've had to trim every once in a while, but it's actually looking pretty solid today. Um, yeah. But anyways, because I basically was told for so many years with positions that I've had that I wasn't allowed to, that has just, like, made me wanna grow a beard more. And so therefore, like, after, educating myself, after finding all of these companies, doing my homework, learning what works for me, and then learning basically that who I am without a beard makes me feel less of a person of my own. I just don't like who I am without it, and I don't like my appearance without it. And so therefore, that's what made me really wanna just grow it and just continue on with this path.
Right. Yeah, definitely, man. Like my buddy, he cut it off. He's at a job who won't allow beards, and I told him, I said, I if a job told me that, I'd be like, see you later. Then I'll go find someone who won't care.
Yeah, and I've done that, but I was really hard pressed for work, and so therefore I had to do what I had to do. Oddly enough, once I got that job at the hospital, 2 weeks later, the supervisor that I had goes, "It doesn't matter, you can have a beard, like, there's options around it." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So I took a 2.5 year cut, and then started to regrow it again.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
what that's where you're at now, or
I left there maybe 7, 8 months ago. Couldn't do it anymore. Place burned me out and didn't care.
yeah. I mean, this job, like I've seen a lot of people go already. Like
Yeah,
they've quit. I'm listening podcast style. There you go. That's all right,
right
man.
on. What did
Um,
JP actually just say? I actually enjoyed shaving once I learned about wet shaving in the old school style. Really? I didn't care to do that at all.
so I have this thing on here that it says all you can make them visible.
Mine just pop up as people comment, whatever. I like that though. Clayla, you shaved your beard once in the past 30 years. We don't talk about that time. I love that.
Um, what was I saying now?
About how you've seen a lot of people come and go
Yeah,
already.
I've seen a lot of people like come and go, and a lot of the veterans have been leaving, and I don't know, like they don't even put in a 2 weeks. Like, what if you want to come back? Like, what if the other job doesn't work out?
Yeah.
So, but for me, one of the higher ups right now, I can't really go into too much detail about it,
You're
but
good.
they are in an operations position, and we're not really sure um, what's going to happen with first.
JP.
So I'm being trained for operations like not next week, but basically the week after.
Mhm.
So it's a promotion. I don't know what everything entails, like as far as if it's a raise or not. But basically, I don't go on a route, but I like if someone needs like a phone because there's not working charger. You control kind of like everything behind a computer and see what's going on, and you can, you know, a lot of detail goes into it. But
Sure.
do you work? DSP or the Zon. So
What does that mean?
none of the delivery drivers, warehouse workers who get the packages ready technically work for Amazon. You're representing them and you sort of kind of do work, under that hood. But we're basically a partner of Amazon. That's why DSP is, delivery service partner. So I work for a DSP. There is 3 DSPs where I work in Conklin. There's Fast Forward, which goes out first. They're the earliest people to go out wherever they go. Then it's us. We're in the middle. That's AMI Logistics. And then there's a third one called K-Matics, and they basically are, the end of the stick, and they come back the latest, go out the latest. So,
right.
Yeah, there's possibilities for advancement to where you can be with actually Amazon, but those are more of a corporate type role, and I'm not much of a corporate type guy.
I'm not either. I've had my days of unfortunate corporate
I
people.
feel like if I was to go in a corporate role, it would make me such a hypocrite, even though it has no relation to it, because I'm a small batch beard company guy. I always
Mhm.
That's how well, I can't really say that's how I started, because Badass Beard Care to me is kind of a corporate type company, but that's because I didn't really know. But now of where I'm at and my knowledge and, experience, I'm a small batch type of guy. So it's, for me, like, that's where I'm always going to kind of stay at.
Mhm.
If that company's that I like, and they grow into somewhat of that role, then that's a different story, because I've represented them and, not helped, but maybe I did kind of help in some ways, help them grow. Then that's a little bit of a different story.
Sure.
But so we'll get into the second thing here. What are some things you wish you knew that you now know?
So, my very first experiences with beard products, I mean, were, oil and then balm. And so I didn't know any better, like what to use first, what not to use, what would be better. I had no idea. My very first product that I ever bought was Grave Before Shave. And
Okay.
so I was just on Amazon when I was just starting out, not really sure what to buy, what was good, if there was anything even in the market. I had no idea. And so I saw Grade Before Shave, thought it sounded like something I would like. And I was like, I'll try it. And I really didn't care for it. Their oils really weren't to my, liking. And I'm not a balm guy. I didn't realize until years later that they had butters. Had no idea what butters were. Didn't do my homework back then because it wasn't something that I was like really diving into. And so I wish that I had known, what to actually do, what was good, how to use it, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't start watching videos until, years later when I was really wanting to actually educate myself, and so I really wish I had done that then.
Okay. Yeah. Um, for me, what I wish I would have known that I now know is the distribution of products. When I first started, I was like, oh yeah, I got a dropper top. I, use the whole thing, and restrictor cap. I just, pour a bunch in, put it on my face. And my wife said, man, your face looks greasy. I think you use too much. And I'm like, I kind of
Sure.
shrugged it off, and um I think I got a couple ingrown hairs because of it, clogging the
Yep.
pores. I think I ended up with some beard acne. And then I go under my neck and I felt like I was sweating. So I like rub the bottom of my neck and I go, oh my God, I guess I, really was using too much.
Yeah.
So, did my research after a while, because I was like, man, I just can't seem to get it right. Like,
Right.
use too little and it's not enough, and I get itchy throughout the day, and it feels dry. And I was way overdoing it with the balm and the butter. Same thing. Like I was like, man, this stuff's good, feels good, you know. And I was rubbing it into my skin, which is a big no-no with balm and butter. That's for the hair, you know, only.
Right.
So I wish that I would have dialed it back with that.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I think that's just the major thing was just distribution of product and not, you know, overly doing it. I don't know. I mean,
Right.
I think that's really about everything else. I kind of like fell in line with just learning.
Right. Also,
Do you use? Well, go ahead.
one other thing I wish I would have known is like where the neckline should be. So when I first started out, like a lot of other guys, we don't know like where to start the neckline down here. And so therefore I think I was always shaving, you know, when I was just starting out, like right up here on the chin. And then I realized like my beard isn't going to start getting fuller, you know, or growing the way that it should if I just leave it at the chin line. And so I started to do my research about that, and I realized that you have to have it, you know, 2 finger lengths above the Adam's apple, and that therefore, as your beard grows, your neckline will also grow in and give it a more fuller look. Let's see here. JP asked, "Who was the first beard content providers that you watched?" Scuba and Beard Brand for me. Um, I think I
Same.
really started to look at Dan's content because I really wanted to educate myself and I really wanted to understand what it is that I was wanting to get out of, you know, a beard journey. I needed education. And so therefore, with him being a teacher, I felt like he was going to be a very good outlet. How
Yeah.
about for you?
Dan I can't remember if Dan or Scuba came first, but they have two different types of ways of doing videos. Like Scuba's like that, you know, burp, fart, you know,
Which I
he
did.
doesn't
I like that his just like I don't give a shit attitude. I think it's
he does
hilarious.
you either, you know, watch his videos or you don't. Like it's
Right.
but the thing of it is despite the comedy and the bodily functions from everything, he knows he knows his stuff.
Right.
I mean, you look at a guy with, you know, a beard like that, you know, how could you not like
Sure.
what he's saying? And you know, Dan, you know, I obviously he's like the encyclopedia of,
Yeah.
you know, everything beard related. Um
Dan's like
and
Yoda.
yeah, he's very point blank with everything. Like it's your beard, do whatever you want, but
Right.
these are just like tips to help you, you know, with the bet. Everyone's beard's different. Like
Yep.
his, you know, the way he does things with his and like styles and stuff. I prefer no heat. Like he's big on blow dryer, you know, beard straightener with the Averlight and stuff.
Yep.
I've gone that route with the heat and I don't like it.
I've
It just
tried
makes
my
everything.
Everlight, which I do enjoy. I'll use it every so often. It's not like an everyday thing for me, but I'll use it
Yeah.
maybe once a week. I mean, it kind of helps to straighten everything and get everything to like lay down. And I've
Mm.
realized like once a week for me personally, it doesn't mean it works for everybody else, but it helps to kind of like keep my hairs down for quite a while actually. And then using, you know, the oil before using the heated brush, then putting the butter in. I've just realized that's what helps me at least once a week to do that, and then just using my oil and butter to just, you know, do my normal routine every day.
Mm. Yeah, I blow dried. I tried a heated brush and I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Um
I've rubbed butter to my skin every day since 2018, never had an issue. Me either personally, but, I'm kind of, you know, sure that other people have. Like, Chris, you said that you know, had some beard acne issues, you know, after you did that after once in a while, whatever.
but it may not even been from like rubbing it in the skin. It was just I was overusing it by, it's
Right.
normally like the fingernail amount, and I was way over that. So
Yeah. I'm glad that other people are also kind of like, agreeing that screwing up the neckline or the cheek line, not trying to figure out like where should it be? Like, do I want a high beard? Do I want to like have it lower? Like, where do we, where do we make those, cheek and necklines? I'm glad that I'm not the only one that, really
yeah,
wished that I had kind of done a little bit more homework about that when I first started. So I'm glad to hear that people are also having that. He really makes videos anymore.
I've
Dude, he
always
doesn't
went
have
to a
to.
barber.
No worries. Thanks for joining us, Jay Cruz. Appreciate that, brother. I like heat on my beard because I want to be pretty. Well, then you go right ahead and be pretty there, JP. Some of us don't really want to look pretty. We just want to look presentable.
Yeah, I mean, I just prefer the all natural look, and as my beard gets longer, it's like weights, kind of taking the direction of where, just I don't got to worry about it.
Right.
So, I don't know. Sometimes I mean, a lot of YouTubers, like I watch some of the smaller guys, and they prefer no heat too. And I guess it really depends. Like if your beard styles well
Yep.
and it looks better with heat, then go for it. But for
Sure.
me, I feel like I have a thicker appearance, like more volume without it.
Hmm. I mean, like I was telling you last night, man, I'm really glad that we have kind of like these different like views and opinions on these things. So that way, maybe some people will, relate better to the way maybe you do things. People might relate better to the way I do things, and people might relate better to other, YouTubers that are out here on our game. I'm glad that we are able to kind of share all of our opinions and our experiences together, so that way people can kind of get their base of who has what experiences. Maybe one person is more relatable to them than others, and I'm just glad we're able to do that.
Yeah, and there's no wrong or right answer. Like it's like with the balm thing. We're not balm guys. I will try
No.
a balm and I'll give you my opinion on it.
Yeah.
But the
Yep.
chances of me using it like a butter are slim to none.
Yeah, for
Some
sure.
some guys like yeah, I don't think Cruz uses heat at all either. I could be wrong. Um, but what was I? I had lost my train of thought again.
You're good. You're talking about
Um,
bulbs and whatnot.
yeah, so I don't know. I'm just like I said, I'll use a balm, and to be honest, I'm kind of growing out of the butters. I
Really?
yeah. To be honest, I'm good with oil, just oil.
So I'm actually kind of glad that you asked that, because I have a few companies that I'm trying out, like I told you, that have only either sent me oils, or some have sent me like an oil and a butter,
Mm,
but they're not matching. And so therefore, like, you obviously know that I'm a very like matchy kind of person when I use an oil and a butter, or whatever. But now I feel as like, for the respect of that company, they took their time to send me things. I need to be fair to them and try their products, but it's
yeah,
like I'm not usually only doing an oil without the actual butter. Um, I'm just not really sure what I think about it yet, but I feel like I really need to, just because of that. Really
yeah.
starting to slow down in the butter. I'm going to start buying the oil and cologne. I mean, do you not use a whole lot of butter? Like, is that why you're slowing down on it? I mean, is it not a product that you use daily? What's up with that, Clayle?
I'll tell you what though. Like when I go to work and I put butter,
Well, to oil
less
earlier in the day. I still use it at night. Huh. So a lot of people are going straight to oils
yeah,
and kind of not doing the whole butter thing. Interesting. That's why.
I'm out, in and out of the van and, the weather elements and so on and so forth. So if I use a butter or balm and the wind's blowing, my beard goes like this and kind of like wraps to my, behind my shoulders. And then when it comes back to, the way it tries to go back the way it's supposed to be, I'll get this divot in my beard. Just using oil, I don't get that. So I know Dan did a video on this, with, that's why he just uses oil. But I don't know. It's just using oil. I still get the softness, the nourishment. And at night, if I'm going to use a butter, I always have to use an oil because of my skin gets very dry. So because I've tried just using a butter at night and my skin still kind of feels itchy because, I haven't made the, for the last few years, I was using natural and butter every time, working well. Try oil. Oh, okay. So I haven't made the decision 100%, but I'm pretty sure I'm heading in the direction of just using oil completely.
I don't know if I can like wrap my head around that because it's like we've been, basically educated and informed that the oil is for the skin, butter's for the hair. And so I'm like, well, if I'm only using one of those, like only one of my, needs are being met. Like I'm not really sure how I would only want to use one or the other.
JP brings up a great point too. Like during the summer, when you get butter shipped, they melt. So you got to put them in the freezer. You got to put them in the fridge, and you got to wait, and then you got to take them out, let them go back to room temp.
Yeah.
So with oils, it doesn't matter because you just
oil is for the hair too.
Yeah. So basically what I do when I distribute my oil is I always go underneath, shake it through, fluff it out a little bit. And then I go over it and coat the hairs, with the oil.
Yep.
So.
Has anybody else, okay, I don't know if I'm the only one that's seen this, but Scuba sometimes, whenever he does like his videos, whatever, he'll either put like an oil or like a butter in his hand, and then he'll just do this. I'm like, that drives me nuts. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? I'm like, that's not how you put products in.
I can't do it.
Right? Like, I couldn't believe that that's what he was doing. I'm like, bro, you know better. You sound like I did for the last 2 years. My advice is test it before for like 2 weeks, like I did, and see how it feels. I still use butter at night. I actually don't use butter at night, only if like my hair is really feeling dry. That's when I will throw a little bit in. Most of the time, I actually coat my beard enough to where I'm still okay during the night.
So, I don't know. I hate to cut it short, but I got to go back to work. I got to bust out these.
You're good, man.
So, but, obviously we had to make this happen today. I'm
sure.
glad I was in a zone of service because there's some, routes where I'm up in the country and I have no bars. So
I gotcha. All right. Well, hey man, it's always good to see you. Thank you for making this happen again today. And let's talk for next week and let me know what comes to mind.
Absolutely. It'll be longer, for sure.
No worries.
All right, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me and Kyle.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate everybody. We'll see you later, everybody. Have a good day.